can talk about that. So whose week is it?
I have no idea. I don't even know who. I don't remember who did it last week.
I think I did.
I will do it.
Yeah,
Pablo.
Pablo.
I want you to begin the program today in the voice of a football announcer.
American.
No. Yes. Do introduce the program like a Peruvian sportscaster would.
Okay.
Introduce the football game.
Okay. No problema. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. This is Let's Talk About Christianity. So it's a shiny day. So the field is so good to speak about some Bible. And we are here with Kit, looking a nice shirt, and Zach too, after a big breakfast. I'm Pablo Calderon. So good morning, everybody.
That is Pablo's impression of a football announcer.
If you've ever wondered, how a radio announcer would begin, the broadcast for a soccer game in Peru, that was it right there.
That's it.
Pablo, that was fantastic. I mean, I love that.
He's really missed his calling, Keith. He should have been a football announcer.
I know. What are you doing on here with us?
He could have pointed out some people's clothes and he could have pointed out some people's clothes and talked about how big of a breakfast they ate.
Wow. Yeah. You have to know the players, don't you, Pablo?
That's right. Yes, and the last too, no? And also what they did before and things like that, no? Like people like to hear the details, no?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow.
Is that we call to fill the space with nonsense information?
Well, we've got that down. So we know how to do that.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Zach.
Morning, guys. Good morning.
Zach. Oh,
yes.
Zach, you zoned out there for a second. I thought you were frozen. And you
Sorry,
were.
I was looking at my material. I was looking at my material for our program today.
Okay, so let's see, Zach. I wanted to ask you what was going on, but you poor guy. I mean, really, a couple shower this past weekend.
Yep. Really thankful though. We're very thankful for all the things that we got and all the people who came.
Oh, I have no doubt whatsoever. But the whole couple shower thing that needs to go away. I'm just saying.
Well, it's becoming the new norm, Keith. There are no longer any more just women wedding showers.
I know. But, I'm just saying. That's well.
I tell you what, though, it about took me out.
A list of reasons that I will never get married again. So
There we go. At least we've got that list going. Daisy's aware of that list.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had a all-you-can-eat Italian buffet, and you know me, I love Italian food.
Oh, you can eat.
That was fantastic. But it was on a Sunday. It started at 2:00. It didn't end till 4:00, and I was exhausted. I was absolutely tired out. But it is what it is. Poor guy. But it is what it is. We got a lot of
so young and exhausted.
See a lot of people we hadn't seen in a while. We got to see a lot of people we hadn't seen in a while, and we got some good stuff to move into the future home. So there we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
So Pablo, you went back to Chimbote?
No. I wasn't able to go because I have a laryngitis.
Yes.
There was no way to go to Chimbote. So until now,
did
with
Arturo go?
No, Arturo was the same.
Oh no.
Yes.
So you're just like spreading laryngitis through your house.
No, actually Friday we were in
You're sick.
Huacho all day long.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you went
And
and spread laryngitis through the city of Huacho.
in Huacho, yes, please. Complete information in Huacho. But
And
this is something interesting because last Sunday when I made announce to the church, because I think for Callao the second time will be on the 15 and 16 of August. So there are already 7 members of the church of Callao that wanted to go to Chimbote to help.
wow,
Oh,
wow,
So
that is awesome.
That's awesome. That's
That
awesome.
is great. So you will
Mhm.
not be with us next week, correct?
No, you will miss me next week.
Okay, because
I'll
you
be
will
in
be
Huacho working for
back
the
in
Yes
Huacho.
2 campaign again.
Okay, all right, very good, very
That's
good.
we're gonna miss him, Keith. He says we're gonna miss him.
He says that. He says that. We'll just go with it, Zach. Um,
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
please later, okay?
I just wanted.
What's going on in Saxton?
Man, there's a lot of stuff going on, just a whole lot of different stuff, and we've got. Let's see, I'm going to Bernie, Missouri tonight. I'll be speaking there on their summer series, and here at Shady Acres. Well, the summer youth series starts Monday, this coming
Oh,
Monday,
really?
and we'll be hosting it the week after. That area-wide congregations the youth will come together on the Monday nights, the various Monday nights for the next month or so, and we're hosting on the 29th, whatever. I think it's 29th. And then we've got some back to school activities that are coming up, and just a lot of various things going on. We've got a lot of missionaries who are on our schedule to come and give reports over the next couple of weeks, and looking forward to hearing from those guys. And Harvey Starling will be here this Sunday and talk about the work in Romania. And
Harvey Starling.
and I can't
How
remember.
old is Harvey Starling? An older man?
Yes, I'm not sure exactly how old he is.
Okay, because Wesley Hazel, when Wesley Hazel was here, he talked briefly about him. I think he talked about maybe him doing a gospel meeting or something, and he remembered. He talked about him, and I had heard his name before, and I wasn't for sure if it was the same guy or not.
I've actually never met him before, but I've heard his name for years, and a lot of that, of course, associated with the work in Romania. But
Right.
We support that work. We had one of the missionaries that we support just randomly dropped by this past Sunday, and it was nice to see them. And then there's like 2 more that are on the calendar for within the next month. I guess it's reporting season, but
It's reporting season.
yeah, we're looking forward to hearing about those works that are
It's a good
going
season.
on. Yeah, it really is. Okay, so let's get into the content of the episode today, now that we've got the preliminaries out of the way, and I think we did so in about 6 minutes this morning. So
That's a
that's
new
like
record.
some kind of record, yeah.
That's some sort of record somewhere.
So here's the topic for today. The topic for today is encouraging the encouragers, and I chose that title just because I thought it sounded catchy. But really talking about those in positions of leadership within the church, whether we're talking about the elders or the deacons or the ministers, or those individuals, whether you are in such a role within your congregation. And I suppose we could extend it to the song leaders, to the youth workers, to the Bible class teachers, all of these individuals, but I was, primarily focusing on the elders and the deacons. But, those people, number one, they, as a general rule, they stay busy. They're always active. And a lot of times they have to make decisions that everybody sees the result of their decisions, but everybody may not know how they came to those decisions and why those things were decided. And granted, some of those things don't need to be known. But it's very easy to be critical, and it's very hard sometimes for those individuals because of the amount of work that they are doing, because of the tireless, okay, let me put it this way. The tireless efforts get tired.
Yeah.
People look at what they do and they say, oh, they are tireless. But yes, those individuals get tired. Well, how can we as members of the congregation be an encouragement to those who are in positions of leadership? And that's really the question that I wanted to put out today.
Church leaders who are encouragers, make your congregation healthier. It makes it a lot better congregation. It increases the atmosphere in your congregation and so on and so forth. And now if we can find a way to flip those tables and find some reasons or from simple ways that are applicable to our lives that we can encourage those church leaders who are encouragers, it'll probably improve even more. And, there are so many church leaders who are encouragers that oftentimes don't get any encouragement. They go through their days, they go through their work that they do for the church, or they go through their work that they're doing for whatever they're doing, and they don't get any encouragement. And oftentimes that can become a little bit of weighing. You can become a little weary of that, and sometimes it can become a discourager as well. You can become very discouraged in your work and it's not saying that we want everybody to say, oh, you're doing a great job every single day of everything we do, but it's just getting simple words, just occasional encouragement from members that church leaders will become a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, but you get where I'm going with this, Keith.
That was okay. So I'm not going to be the rambler today.
Yeah. Yeah. I stopped myself. I was like, I'm turning into Keith. I'm going to stop.
So you hit on something there. They oftentimes do not get, they don't get told thank you or you're doing a great job daily. They may not get told weekly or monthly or annually. And it's just something that we, for whatever reason, human nature tends to ignore that until there's a problem. And then, and I want to point out and I'm approaching this from as a member of the congregation, but, within whatever congregation you are in, the leadership of that congregation, be it the elders or the deacons or the ministers, they are carrying burdens that most members of the congregation aren't even aware of.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a lot of elders who, those burdens end up just eating them up. And part of how and part of why that is because there are some of those things, as I mentioned a moment ago, that everyone else doesn't need to know about. But they know, and they are bearing those burdens. So
I saw a quote too that I wanted to add into this today, and it I want to attribute it to the right person. I think it was Dale Jenkins, and he put it on Facebook. And the gist of the quote was this: he said, today say something encouraging to one of your elders or to your preacher, or to your deacons, because they may be going through something that you have no idea that they're going through, but they're going to keep doing what we've been doing for the church. And you may not even know that they're going through a burdensome worry on their heart, or they're through something in their lives that is making it hard to be the type of Christian that they need to be. And a lot of times people just don't look at it like that. It's a very hard perspective for people to get, but it happens. It happens.
Yes.
And I remember in Peru too, Pablo. I remember in Peru too, Pablo, when we were down there with Paulino, and one of the things we talked about was how Paulino needed some encouragement, how he needed some more encouragement in his life. And those 5 men that we met from, I think it was Venezuela, had provided him a lot. Yeah, they had provided him a lot of encouragement down there.
Yes, they did. Motivation is always a big part of the church moving.
Well, let's use Paulino as an example for just a moment, briefly. And I say briefly because I realize that most of our listeners don't know who we're talking about. Some know who we're talking about. Some have met him, but probably the majority have not. But Paulino is kind of, you fly into Lima, and then you've got to go about 200 miles south to get to where he is at. And there are, Pablo, how many churches are in between Lima and Ica?
Maybe one.
And
maybe one.
Yeah. So, the point I wanted to make was that Paulino's kind of out there all by himself. And we look at a guy like Paulino, and it should be pretty obvious that any encouragement that can be given to him is going to be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
But we look at the leadership within our own congregations, and we go, "Oh, why do these guys need encouragement?" I mean,
right.
They're in a congregation of this size, and why would they need encouragement? Let me tell you something. From what I have seen and what I know, those men who are serving as elders are out there by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is our fault as members, because for whatever reason, we view it that way. I want to go to Hebrews 13 is where that I want to go. Hebrews chapter 13. And I realize that as Paul, I think Paul wrote the book of Hebrews. I mean, if you want to argue
personal
about
opinion, but I may agree with that, Keith.
There are some things in this chapter about the Christian's relationship to elders, but the chapter itself is not about that. But there are some things that we can take from this, and we could start right there in verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Now, why would the author of Hebrews say, "Let brotherly love continue"? I think it's more than just a random thought. I think that he was giving the reminder that we cannot grow lax. We can't grow careless in loving one another. Well, do we take that to our
got our 10-minute warning?
Yeah, and I somehow jumped off the page. There we go. Do we extend that to the leadership of the congregation?
100%. And the thing about love is, with us, sometimes we think we tend to think, oh, he knows that I love him and he knows that he's doing a good job and he don't need any encouragement. He don't need me to tell him that because he knows it. But a lot of times it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the church leader knows it or not. You still need to say it, because it's different between knowing that it's there and having somebody come up to you to take the time to say that is there. And, you're right, Keith. Love is – sorry, Pablo. Go.
No, sorry. When I was on my 16 or 17 years old, there was a leader of a youth group, the church. This guy was a very good teacher, very good teacher, but not a good leader, no? Or
Not
motivation.
a good leader. Yeah.
Okay, I know that there are some temptations outside because he taught me on the Bible, but I need encouragement, not only teaching, no? Most of the preachers do that. Okay, I teach you, go away from the sin, stay faithful. The Bible says so. Okay, but what about motivation too?
Yeah.
Right.
Very good point. It's a very good point.
Okay, so the point that I would make from verse 1 is treat those who are in positions of leadership like you would treat anyone else.
Yeah.
Like any other member of the congregation. That they need that brotherly love.
And that's how we need to treat church leadership. But continue.
Verse 2, do not forget to entertain strangers, for by so doing some have unwittingly entertained angels. Let me say this. I don't know how many times I have been talking to elders of the church who have said, before I became an elder, we used to get invited to people's homes. We used to go out and eat. We used to do this. And I became an elder and like all of that stopped. Elders and their wives, we could do an entire episode on their wives, but elders need the same hospitality that would be extended to every member of the congregation.
See.
And if you were doing things with somebody before they became an elder, don't stop doing them once they become an elder, because that just – you got to continue to strengthen the bond. What you want to have, I would want to have a strong bond with the eldership and not just a occasional hello, how are you kind of relationship.
Right. Okay, so verse 3. Remember the prisoners as if chained with them, those who are mistreated, since you yourselves are in the body also. Try putting yourself in the position of those who are in leadership within the church. Try to understand how they are having to view things and how things, try to empathize with them. And I think that if we could, take I know that there are members, myself included, who have looked at decisions that had to be made within the church. And the conclusion that I came to was, I'm glad I'm not an elder.
Yeah.
But, just try to be sympathetic to them. And to do so, we've got to, we've got to understand the burden of leadership that they are taking for our benefit.
Elders make a lot of tough decisions. They have to discuss a lot of tough topics. And a lot of times elders can carry a great weight on their shoulders. And it's not a weight that's visible either. It's a weight that you don't know about. So we definitely need to be an encouragement and treat them just as we would treat our fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, with no difference in between. Continue.
Okay, so the fourth thing that I was going to say, go to verse 7 here in Hebrews 13. Verse 7, remember those who rule over you, who have spoken the word of God to you, whose faith follow, considering the outcome of their conduct. Okay, remember them.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And there are a number of ways that we need to remember them. For example, we need to remember them in prayer. We can look at verse 16 and see that. We need to remember them with encouraging words. Paul, as he wrote to the church at Thessalonica, 1 Thessalonians 5 and verses 12 and 13, he said, "We urge you, brethren, to recognize those who labor among you and are over you in the Lord and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake. Be at peace among yourselves." We've got to remember them, and as the author points out here in Hebrews 13 and verse 7, remember the example that they are setting. And in all of these things, we need to be remembering in gratitude. We must have an attitude of gratitude toward them for what they have done. And
a sound leadership and an active leadership are two concepts in the church that I think people take for granted a lot of times. If you're blessed to have a sound leadership and an active leadership in your congregation, then you have more than most people have. Sometimes, leaderships can go awry and they can go down the wrong path. And when they go down the wrong path, they lead the congregation down the wrong path. But if you have a sound leadership and an active leadership that want to do what is right, that want to adhere to the Word of God and want to do what God has given them the responsibility of doing, then you need to be grateful for that. You need to be thankful for that. And you need to give those guys some encouragement to keep them going,
I wish we had time to explore that a little further.
Oh, yeah.
We're running out of time already.
We're almost to 2 minutes, Keith.
Yeah, I know, and I've still got 2 points that I want to throw out here.
You can do it 30 seconds each.
Point number 5, verse 16. Do not forget to do good and to share, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. Do something.
Yeah.
Help them out. Help the leadership out.
Go to them and say, "What can I help you with?
What do you need help with today? And what can I do to help the church today?" I assure you that most congregations, there's something that can be done.
Oh, there's always something
you may not be aware of.
There is always something.
Now, verse 19. But I especially urge you to do this, that I may be restored to you the sooner.
You're going to have to tie in the ending with this one.
Oh, yeah. It's unity. We're all on the same team, and we're all working toward the same goals. And I think sometimes we don't, and that's one reason I was glad Pablo did the whole soccer introduction there at the beginning. Hey, this recording is going to end suddenly here in just a second. Let's just go ahead and wrap this up, okay?
All
right. So
thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. And Pablo, you're going to do the
yeah.
You got to do this way. All right.
Ciao.
We may need to pick this up later, but we appreciate you as our listeners, and we will see you next week.